francouzský. Důležité věc, co chodíte na závody pravidelně, pamatovat třeba jako i vítěze Škoda Octavia Kartu, který byl velmi populární a Martin Klisovský získal titul v barvách týmu ACA Autocentrála Eduarda Skavy.
Hello race fans and welcome to Brno again. Here we are on the main straight of Masaryk Circuit before the final sprint race of GT Cup series here in the Czech Republic. It is the second to last race weekend of the season. This big season final is going to happen during the last weekend of September in Hungary on Balaton Park, of course. And here we are today again to watch the sprint race. 25 minutes of racing ahead of us, just as yesterday. And again, it is amazing field of 31 racing cars, as you can see behind me. It's amazing grid here in Brno. 31 cars on the grid, again split it into several classes, and it will be this gentleman from Germany, starting with number 1, Marco Fink, the German racer, with this beautiful Norma BMW prototype. Amazing BMW factory colors on this car. Yesterday also in the endurance race, this was the fastest car on the track. Very light, very powerful, and it's just it's simply amazing to watch such a car on the racetrack here. And of course, this is the car on the pole position, the fastest car of them all, starting in the SCC class. So it is originally from the Prototype Challenge Championship, and there is not much competition to this car in SCC class actually. So we do expect Marco Fink going for another victory here, and next to him in the front row beside Marco Fink we have Miro Konopka, again starting with this beautiful Ligier LMP3 car, number 44, very typical yellow colors of ARC Bratislava, and it is the only Le Mans prototype here on the grid. Again, amazing car with a very experienced driver in the cockpit. Of course, Miro Konopka, he is a legend of Slovakian racing. He took part in Le Mans 24 hours multiple times. He has been also racing in the WEC, which means the World Endurance Championship. He has been taking class victories also in the Asian Le Mans series, and now Miro Konopka is taking some rest here next to the barrier. Next to him, Andis Turinic, the team manager. But Miro, you seem to me very relaxed, smile on your face, beautiful day here in Brno. You are looking at your beautiful car. How do you feel before the race?
Fantastic, it's sun, it's the people in the tribune. Fantastic, it's nice. It's a last race for this season in the championship, and I'm satisfied. A lot of car in the grid, fantastic. I think very nice day.
Fantastic, Miro. Just go and enjoy the race. Thank you very much, and see you after the race. So follow me, please, ladies and gentlemen, into the second row on the starting grid. Here we have one of the GT3 cars. This is the Audi R8 LMS GT3. Today we do have Peter Fullin, a 3 times European Touring Car champion, behind the wheel. Yesterday it was Alia Kolot racing with this car, but today we have the car owner Peter Fullin behind the wheel. Hello Peter, starting the race from the second row today, so how do you feel about it?
I think the car is better than yesterday, for sure. During the quali, the cold weather especially helped us, but I expect, as usual, strong power during the rolling start from my competition behind me. So I'm a little bit afraid it will be very difficult to catch them or overtake them.
So the goal is to go for the victory in GT3 class. Am I right?
Yeah, that's right. I will do my best.
Absolutely. Peter, thank you very much, and we keep fingers crossed for you. So this was Peter Fullin. His main goal, of course, is to go and try to win the GT3 class today in this sprint race. By the way, we have 17 minutes to the start of the formation lap. It will be a rolling start again, and here we have another beautiful car, another beautiful GT3 machine on the grid with this Yeah, it is sharp as this shark here, actually. I love it. I love the team mascot here. And this Mercedes-AMG GT3 actually won the race yesterday, the endurance race yesterday, with also this guy behind the wheel, Piotr Vira. Hello, Piotr. Nice to have you here in Brno. So today, it will be some competition for you in the GT3 class, including Peter Fulin over there in the Audi. So how do you feel about the race?
I think today I feel very good. We have more fans, great weather, and we will see. Today I want only great fun, and we will see.
Absolutely, and the car is okay.
Car is okay. Yesterday we have car very good with my partner Mateusz, who yesterday we win. We will see today. Maybe today win. We will see.
Okay, absolutely. Fingers crossed for you, Piotr. Thank you very much for talking us on the grid. So we do have also a Mercedes-AMG GT3 here, and that's really good because I was talking about this topic also yesterday. After the departure of Libor Milota from the championship, we lost the only Mercedes on the grid, but then Piotr Vira came with his car, and it's so good to have Piotr Vira on the grid because thanks to him, we do have this amazing German machine from Affalterbach on the grid here in the GT Cup Series, fighting for the class victories in GT Cup Series. Again, here we have Denis Waszek. It is a beautiful Lamborghini Huracan Super Trofeo with number 100, and Denis Waszek is listed within GTX class, so mainly he's going to fight against KTM cars. So Denis Waszek, he has Super Trofeo car, but we are going to follow his way through the GTX field, and I'm trying to find the local team, of course, Masaryk Motorsports, powered by Bagheera. And here we are, the leaders of the GTC class, the leaders of the GT Cup category. This is number 22, actually, if you follow me closely over here, number 22, starting the race with Josef Zaruba today. Of course, he will be the racer to do the sprint race today. Josef Zaruba is over here finally. Hello, Josef. Just keep the helmet on, it's fine for me. And yes, you look better with the helmet on. No, I'm just joking, of course. Josef Zaruba starting the race, and this is the day for Masaryk Motorsport, potentially. So how do you feel about it?
We are at home soil, so I'm looking forward. This is the last race, so yeah, looking forward and hope we're gonna win, and I can splash you a bit on the podium as at most.
No chance, mate. No, there will be no spraying of champagne to me. But I mean, if you take a look on the grid again, it will be a crucial to have a good start. Of course, do not make any mistakes. You have a KTM on your left-hand side. You have again another Lamborghini in front of you. So, what will be your approach into the first corner?
Oh, I will just try to do some places and then just try to defend and do as best as I can. But the only thing that I'm sad about that here is Broniek and he's not in the car, because he was scared that yesterday he got luck and won, so he want to finish his career at the top, and he didn't drive today. So this is what I'm sad about. But yeah, I will try to do some places and do a good race.
Absolutely. We of course gonna keep the fingers crossed for you, Josef. Enjoy the race and go for it. Thank you very much. So this was Josef Zaruba, the driver of number 22 Lamborghini. Bronislav Formanek, Josef's partner from the endurance race, also here. Bronislav, I was just told by Josef that you are going to end your career. I hope it's not true. I will do the quick. Okay. So there was a translation from Josef. You said that he's going to end his career. Is it true?
Říkal jsem, já mu to přeložím, jo? Říkal jsem, že teďka skončil s kariéru, protože mě porazil a chci skočit na vrcholu. Je to pravda, nebo budeš pokračovat?
Budu pokračovat.
He will continue.
It's good news. Good news for all of us. Well, I feel so relieved now that Bronislav Formanek actually is not going to end his career after this race weekend here in Brno. So this is the racing pair that won the endurance race yesterday. They've been sharing the racing duties behind the wheel of this beautiful Lamborghini. This time it is only time for Josef Zaruba, and he is the one driver with racing duties today, and of course the main goal for Josef Záruba and Masaryk Motorsport powered by Bagheera is to win the GTC class in this sprint race. So again, a lovely chat with the guys, and they are just having fun with racing here, and that's, I believe, the most important thing. Well, next, I'm sorry, gentlemen, next or alongside Josef Záruba, we have this beautiful KTM Xbo GT2 car. It's number 23 actually. So with number 23, we do have Jack Russell, the Austrian driver, ready to fight for the win again. Then we have one of the Praga cars here. This is a very nice car. It's the Czech Ultra Light Super Sport, racing with number 123, listed in D5 class with Alex Tlusty behind the wheel, and basically this car with 123 on its body kit, that's the only competitor for Miro Konopka starting from the second place, because we have only two cars starting the race in D5 class. The first car, that's Miro Konopka, we've been talking to him, he's going to start the race from the second place today, and the second car starting in D5 class together with Miro Konopka is Alex Tlusty behind the wheel of his nice Praga R1, amazing light car, checkmate. Previously today we also had the new Praga Bohema on track doing some taxi laps for the customers, so also we have a big presence of a Czech car brand Praga here in Brno, and that's always really good. Another GT3 machine over here, number 611, that's Porsche 911 of course, GT3 of the German driver Hermann Speck. And as always, Hermann is being listed within the P9 class. So this, yes, of course, Hermann Speck, yes, within the P9 class. So it is originally a GT3 car, but not starting in a GT3 class. It is in a separate category P9, together with the other cars, including the green Lamborghini with number 804 over there. So these two cars, the number 804 Lamborghini and this Porsche number 611, these two cars will be most likely fighting each other for the class win today in the P9 class. I'm just gonna check the driver of the Lamborghini of 804. Yes, it is Coach Mackenzie. Coach Mackenzie, he also took a part in yesterday's endurance race, and he was sharing his driving duties together with Gerhard Tveraze. And this time it will be his solo drive into the 25 minutes sprint race here in Brno. So we still have 8.5 minutes to go in 8.5 minutes to go before the formation lap will be started. And yeah, we have also some other drivers on the grid, so maybe we can have also a little chat over there, because I can see one of the BMW's M4 GT3 entered by Aries Racing in cooperation with Schenki's Motorsport. And yes, this should be Rudolf Benio behind the wheel of this BMW GT3. So this is one of the cars fighting in the GT3 class actually, and it's number 444, of course, so it is Rudolf Benio. And I can see here on the grid Rudolf's driver coach, Richard Gonda, and maybe there is going some conversation between Richard and Rudolf. Hi, Richard, how are you today?
Hi, very good. Now out of the car, so fingers crossed for Rudolf.
And you are, of course, here as a driver coach of Rudolf Benio. So how challenging is your role, actually?
It's tough. I'm enjoying that, but it's hard to switch. Also, yesterday before endurance, you are just the last 30 minutes you switch that you're driving also for the qualifying as well. But I'm enjoying that, and I'm very happy for Rudo because this is actually his 4th race in GT3 car. Last year was his first season in GT overall in GT4, and now he's in the game with the big guys here. So really good improvements, and that's why I'm happy, and that's why I'm enjoying to being here.
Well, if I'm right, you are in P4 in GT3 class on the grid. So what's the goal for the race?
Yeah, we will see. First of all, not to risk any damage, because next weekend we have a GT Masters, and that's the important one. This is, let's say, a practice to get in the rhythm in the race pace and so on. We are playing with the tires a little bit, with the temperatures and pressures, playing with the setup and trying to find the best. Yeah, we will see if there's a chance. We will try to move forward. On the left, it's also possible to go around the outside in the first corner, so everything is open, and the pace is there. So I think it will be close between GT3 cars.
Absolutely. We keep our fingers crossed for you, whole team, and of course for Rudolf.
Thank you very much.
Yes, see you. So, a lovely chat to Richard Gonda, former GP3 driver actually from Slovakia, who is here as a driver coach to Rudolf Beňo, the driver of number 444 BMW M4 GT3. And yeah, that's it. We did, I believe, lovely grid walk before the second sprint race of the weekend of GT Cup Series here in Brno. We have 5 minutes before the formation lap is going to be started, so make sure you are also joining us for the race itself in 5 minutes.
Prostě motor kaput a bylo to rychlý a bylo to drahý, ta výměna, ta cesta, ale povedlo se, čili díky tomu všemu je to číslo 22 nastaveno, to je nejlepší informace z toho 11 stojí od nás, že ta dokončí na místě 14. Když jsme u těch pohárových vozů Porsche, tak se můžeme podívat na místo 21. Tam je Porsche nového týmu DCR, čili Dark Case Racing 992, docela stylové, startové číslo v případě Porsche. No a s ním jezdí Robert Kucák junior, syn táty stejného jména, Roberta Kucáka, který dříve také úspěšně závodil, teďka je úspěšným šéfem, spolumajitelem s Petrem Kačekem, který zároveň vybavení pokusů a další sezení po celém světě. No a právě si zmínil Petra Kačíka, takzvaná kachna, kačně, jak se Petr říká, to velký právě je tento sprint, bojujete tedy z toho standardního čísla, standardního 21 a Petr to je zase Vzpomeneme na Marcela, protože to byl velký tygr všemi směry a měli jsme ho opravdu moc rádi, tak patří mu i naše vzpomínka. Petr Kačírek měl hodně, nebo má hodně nabitý víkend, protože on kombinuje rally a okruhy a teď se jela rally Vyškov, takže Petr jel rally Vyškov, i jeho syn jel také rally Vyškov, no a včera dorazil Petr starší sem do Brno na okruh a dneska tedy pojede závod s tímto nádherným Poršákem. Je to rizí kapové Porsche a víte třeba vy, co sledujete Super Cup při Formule 1, tak to je přesně auto z této série. V tomto případě je to vůz 2 roky starý, nebo spíš řečeno 2 roky mladý. A zkrátka ten design, musím říct, že já jsem o tom s Robertem jedním i druhým opakovaně mluvil a oba dva se usmívali a říkali, tam to je, že ta historie, a tak jsme se smáli, že to evokuje staré, dobré zbarvení barbarovou, nejenom ve Formuli 1, ale i v jiných závodech. A je to opravdu pravda, je to velice jednoduchý černo-bílý design a je to absolutně čistý pojízdný obraz. No a těch čistých pojízdných obrazů tu máte celou řadu, už to vidíte, to pole je bez mechaniků, je to opravdu radost pohledět a věřím, že se mnou budete alespoň částečně souhlasit. Už jenom vteřiny nás dělí od zahřívacího kola. 3, 2, 1 a jen.
So hello again and one more time welcome to Brno in the Czech Republic. This is the Masaryk Circuit here in South Moravia and we are just about to start the second sprint race of the weekend of GT Cup Series here in Brno, and this is the starting grid. Marco Fink with his Norma BMW number 1 starting from pole position, alongside him Miro Konopka behind the wheel of Ligier LMP3. Timo Scheibner racing with BMW M4 GT3, Peter Flynn with his Audi RS8 GT3, so these are the 2 top rows on the grid, and again we have a massive grid of cars for GT Cup Series here in Brno. It's a home race for many drivers, many racers. As you can see, at last we have 30 cars, it should be 31 cars actually on the grid for this race, so it will be a showdown again for the sprint season within the GT Cup Series, and of course we also have to look after the championship standings here, because the season is going to end, of course. So here we are in Brno, and well, if we check the standings in sprint, this is the race number 10 this season. The season final is going to take place in Hungary at the end of September. It will be 11th and 12th race on Balaton Park in Hungary. So this race can tell us something about the championship. It can tell us a lot actually before the final 2 races. And again we have this beautiful BMW Alpine as a pace car here, and yes, we are just getting ready for the start of the race. We've already seen 2 great races yesterday, the first sprint and also the endurance race. Unfortunately, with one big crash of Braga R1T. It was after the contact between Adam Code and Miro Konopka, and the Braga has been destroyed in the barrier behind the first corner. but fortunately Adam Colt is all right. And Miro Konopka is also here again. So let's get ready for the final sprint race of this weekend of GT Cup Series here in Brno. It is going to be a rolling start. Miro Konopka and Marco Fink side by side. And we are racing in Brno for the final time with GT Cup Series this year. And it is Marco Fink leading the way. Timo Scheibner is there in second place behind the wheel of his BMW number 806. So it is Marco Fink behind the wheel of his prototype Norma BMW, winning the race, the endurance race in the overall standings yesterday, and also most importantly winning the SCC class. This time he is leading the way also in the sprint, so great start done by Marco Fink. Behind him it is Timo Scheibner. Here he is, you can see the white, red and black BMW M4 GT3 behind Timo Scheibner. It is Miro Konopka in third place overall and also leading the D5 class. That's the most important thing for Miro, to claim the class win. And his only opponent is Alex Lusty racing with Praga R1T. So we have two cars starting in a D5 class. But look at this battle here now. Miro Konopka apparently has the momentum, and of course with so much downforce he has in a Le Mans prototype, he is much quicker in the corners, as you can see here. Always in the corner he gets closer behind Timo Scheibner. Then the BMW has better acceleration from the corner. But into the corner, Miro Konopka is just being much faster, and this will be the acceleration battle between these two drivers, climbing up into the final chicane of Brno Circuit. To the left-hand side, now to the right-hand side, and here we are again on the main straight of Masaryk Circuit. Great exit by Miro Konopka, but then again Timo Scheibner much better on the acceleration. It's a good speed for BMW on the straight here in Brno. So Timo Scheibner is there in second place, and this is Peter Fluin. Peter Fluin, the 3 times European champion of touring cars. He is the guy who is chasing down the German driver Timo Scheibner, because these two drivers can fight each other for the class win in GT3 class. Well, actually, to make it right, number 806 of Timo Scheibner is listed within P9 class, so Timo Scheibner is leading the P9 category. Then it is Miro Konopka, and then Peter Fluin driving his Audi R8 GT3. He is the leader of GT3, so this is a good situation for Peter Fluin, because he leads the class he wants to win. And his closest opponent is the Polish driver Piotr Wira, driving his Mercedes AMG GT3 number 14 behind Peter Fluin. So there might be a fight between the two drivers, and here Miro Konopka goes for the inside. And he had to be careful, because he was very well aware of the fact that Timo Scheibner is going to close the door, so Miro Konopka rather put the brake pedal to the metal. But now again, good exit done by Miro Konopka, but again the BMW is just much quicker on the straight, so it's an ever-going fight between these two drivers, and Miro Konopka is just enjoying himself so much. Now he was pushed away from the track by Timo Scheibner, so he needs to be careful. As I said previously, Timo Scheibner is leading his P9 class, while Miro Konopka is the leader in D5, and behind Miro it is already Peter Fluin, the leader of GT3, and he has his closest opponents just behind him. It is Piotr Wira In second place, behind the wheel of his Mercedes, and behind Piotr, it is Rudolf Beňo, the Slovakian driver with BMW M4 GT3 number 444. So Rudolf Beňo is also there in the mix, also fighting for at last second place within GT3 class. And this is just still very, very amusing. We are still watching the LMP3 car trying to chase down the GT3 car. Meanwhile, the German driver Marco Fink is pulling away up in the front. He already has a decent gap between him and Timo Scheibner. 10 seconds between Marco Fink and Timo Scheibner. So Marco Fink is just doing extraordinary job. Of course, he's enjoying this very much, as he is in the quickest car on the grid, racing in SCC class, and this should be his race. Again, on the main straight, Timo Scheibner versus Miro Konopka. Still Timo Scheibner up in front. And here we also have the Cup cars. It's the red and white Lamborghini of Mechanic Motorsport powered by Bagheera. So who is actually the leader in the GTC class category? It should be Josef Zaruba in 13th place overall. So yes, Josef Zaruba is leading the way. He is leading the race in GTC class on his home soil. The driver from Brno, racing for team with headquarters also in Brno, so it can't be any more home race for Mechanic Motorsport and Josef Zaruba. 13th place for Josef now on the grid. Or in the standings, of course, and most importantly, it's the first place among the GTC cars. The second place in GTC goes to Jakob Knoll at the moment, and there is max grip from Austria between Zaruba and Knoll, so there is no danger to Josef Zaruba now, and he's just safely driving in his 13th place, leading the GTC class. Still watching these two drivers, Timo Scheibner and Miro Konopka, with 17 minutes to go. Again, we are going into the last chicane of the track here in Brno. The last chicane of Masaryk Circuit, and you just can't see from the drone footage the difference, the speed difference between LMP3 prototype and the GT3 car through the chicane. The LMP3 is just much faster through the chicane with so much downforce. Look at it here into the first corner. It's a hairpin, but Miro Konopka is just way faster across or around this corner, and it's always tough for him to avoid any contact between him and Timo Scheibner ahead of him. But once we are on the straight, Timo Scheibner is pulling away with his faster car on top speed. Well, it's a strange comparison of these two cars, of these two classes. For example, if you watch Michelin Le Mans Cup, that's the series for GT3 cars and LMP3 cars. In Michelin Le Mans Cup, the LMP3 class is the top class racing for the overall victories. There is one slow car on the track, but the blue flags has been given, so it should be alright. If you watch Michelin Le Mans Cup races, you can see that the LMP3 class is the top class racing for the overall victories. Meanwhile, GT3 cars are racing only for the class victory in Le Mans Cup, but that also goes behind the setup of balance of performance in Le Mans Cup. So it's not always so easy to be quicker in the LMP3 car in the battle against the GT3 car, and this race is the best example of what I'm talking about. One of the Porsche Cup cars, two Porsche Cup cars actually here. Miro Konopka on the main straight again. And Peter Fulin leading the way in GT3 class ahead of Piotr Villa and Rudolf Benio. So maybe this will be a fight between Benio and Villa, and yes, Rudolf Benio takes the second place here. Nice position swap between Rudolf Benio and Piotr Villa. So Rudolf Benio is there in second place behind the wheel of his BMW. So Rudolf Benio is now second in the GT3, and Piotr Villa is there in third. So this was some classic overtaking through the first corner here in Brno. So now Rudolf Benio is getting the chance for chasing down Peter Fulin, the GT3 class category leader. So this might be interesting in the second half of the race. Plus also we have Denis Waszek behind Piotr Vera now, and Denis Waszek is the race leader of the GTX class. Also good position for him, because the second driver in GTX is Jack Russell, the Austrian, driving the KTM Xbo GT2, but the gap between Denis Waszek and Jack Russell is larger than 2.5 seconds, so it's a good position for Denis Waszek here in Brno to fight for the class win. Here he is, the white and red Lamborghini Huracan Super Trofeo. That is Denis Waszek, and now Miro Konopka is finally ahead of Timo Scheibner, but look at the battle on the main straight again. Now the BMW again much faster on the top speed. So he retakes his second place in the overall standings now, and I believe this must be amusing for both drivers, just having fun behind the steering wheels of their cars. Now Miro Konopka going around the outside. Wow, he was too wide at the exit from the third corner, and I was a bit afraid that Miro is going to try the inside line, but fortunately for both drivers he didn't. Oh no, Miro goes away! Miro goes into the gravel zone, and he just didn't expect Timo Scheibner braking so heavily, so he just had to steer to the right hand side, and he decided rather go into the gravel zone than make a contact with Timo Scheibner. So this was a nasty moment for Miro Konopka, who I believe was forced to go off the track. Well, this wasn't nice actually, and I'm just thinking if that was a brake test done by Timo Scheibner. It's hard to believe, of course. Fortunately, Miro Konopka is back on the track, still racing, still in the contention, so we didn't lost the only LMP3 car on the grid, but it was a nasty moment, and Miro Konopka was just doing everything he could do to avoid crashing into Timo Scheibner's BMW. Here he is, Miro Konopka, still driving, still being quick, and he still leads his D5 class. That's the most important for him. Piotr Vera ahead of him. He's now in the mix of GT3 cars. One of the SCC cars coming into the pits. and it is Diego Romanini, the Austrian driver. So most likely there were some technical issues to his car, and now Piotr Vira and Miro Konopka both overtaking the slower Mercedes AMG GT4. Oh no, there's a touch! There is a touch between Konopka and Vira! And Piotr Vira went off into the gravel zone after the contact with Miro Konopka. Miro Konopka, he was there inside the corner, and Piotr Vira was just closing the door, but Miro Konopka has been already there, and I believe the Slovakian driver, he was there as a first driver at the apex of that corner. So again, hard to judge, but this was very unfortunate. Maybe Piotr Vira just wasn't aware of the fact that Miro Konopka is going for the inside line, and again this was a nasty crash and very unfortunate and unnecessary contact between these two drivers. Here we can see it again, we can look at it again. So Piotr Vira is still there in the gravel zone. So we do have a yellow flags in that place, because I can't see any chance for Piotr Vira to get himself out of the gravel zone without any help. So 8 minutes to go, fortunately. We are still racing without safety car, but now let's take a look again. Yes, the yellow flags are out, so most likely the car of Piotr Vira is still there in the barrier, and there will be definitely some damage to the Mercedes AMG GT3 of Polish driver Piotr Vira. One more time, here we have the replay, and yes, Miro Konopka, also from this drone footage you can see that very clearly that Miro Konopka has been there in front. He was hitting the apex as a first driver in that battle, so I'm afraid that this goes behind Piotr Vira here, because he was just closing the door, and obviously he wasn't aware of the car on the inside line, and that was Miro Konopka, so they touched each other. Well, it's an eventful race for Miro Konopka and his team ARC Bratislava. Of course, a big racing team, also in some races racing with Lamborghini Huracan GT3, for example in Most, in the endurance race. There was also the second car of ARC Bratislava, and it was the Lamborghini Huracan GT3. Very often driven by Miro's youngest son, Adam. But here in Brno, we only have one car entered by ARC Bratislava, and that is this yellow Ligier LMP3. Still yellow flags here, and yes, the Mercedes of Piotr Vira is still there in the barrier with 6 minutes to go. The battle is on also for the GT3 class win between Petr Fulin and Rudolf Benio. Rudolf Benio behind the wheel of this red BMW M4 GT3, trying to chase down the Czech legend of racing, 3 times European touring car champion. Petr Fulin had the first test with the Audi R8 GT3 last year, and He took part in some races of GT Cup Series. This year we also saw his car on Hockenheimring for the GT Open round. And this weekend here in Brno, Peter Fuglin and his team are taking part in all 3 races of GT Cup Series. Yesterday for the first sprint it was Alia Kolots behind the wheel of the Audi. Then for the endurance race, Alia Kolots and Peter Fuglin were sharing the driving duties between them. And today it is Peter Fuglin driving his Audi R8 GT3 in the fight for the GT3 class winner. Meanwhile, Marco Fink is leading the way with the gap of 20 seconds between him and Timo Scheibner, driving this BMW 806. It's a BMW M4 GT3, of course. And we only have 4 minutes to go, and this time there is Miro Konopka between the top 2 cars of GT3 class. And if Miro Konopka overtakes Peter Fuglin, he will be chasing down Timo Scheibner again, just as it was at the beginning of the race. So possibly towards the race end there will be another fight between Miro Konopka and Timo Scheibner. Again, so much downforce on the side of Miro Konopka, who is being much quicker in the corners if we compare his car with the others, even with GT3 cars. And here we are on the main straight again, with some traffic ahead. Yes, that's the AMG. No, sorry, it's the Aston Martin Vantage GT4 entered by Yannick Motorsport. Well, in the GT3 class, the race leader here is Miroslav Mikes, and he's the driver of Bagheera ZM Racing. So the leading car in the GT4 class is the Mercedes AMG GT4 entered by Bagheera ZM Racing. So Mikes in the P20, he is the leader of the GT4 class. And if we speak about the Aston Martin Vantage GT4, it is Petr Kokola in B5 in GT4 at the moment. So the Aston Martin that has been lapped down by these drivers is in a B5 within the class and in B25 overall standings. And Miro Konopka still stuck behind the Audi of Peter Fuglin. Maybe this isn't a bad news for Peter Fuglin, because Miro Konopka is just keeping Rudolf Benio behind his back, which means Rudolf Benio can't attack Peter Fuglin in the possible fight for the first place here. And more traffic ahead. Well, we do have another two GT4 cars here, the Porsche Cayman and the Mercedes of Bagheera. Well, the second car of Bagheera ZM Racing is being driven by Martin Hudec or Filip Nedoma in this race. It is Martin Hudec, of course, and that was the 4th place in GT4 class. And who is there with Porsche? I wonder. Well, the GT4 Porsche is being driven by Rafael Kraus, and yes, it is the GT4 car, but it is in P9 class. And here we are again, the checkered flag is out, and again, just as yesterday, Marco Fink wins the race in the SCC class and also in the overall standings, but of course the SCC class win is the most important thing for Marco Fink. So this was a victory for his Norma BMW, and I believe there was a fight for the win in a GT3 to the finish line. Yes, and Rudolf Benio is there ahead. So Rudolf Benio won the race in GT3 class. What a finish between Rudolf Benio and Petr Fulin. And it was a fight to the finish line, only 1/10 of a second between Rudolf Benio and Petr Fulin. So Rudolf Benio is the race winner in the GT3 class. Last minute overtake. What a great job done by Rudolf Benio. Also his driver coach Richard Gonda must be delighted, because this was absolutely amazing. So Marco Fink won the race overall and also in SCC class. Timo Scheibner wins P9 class. Miro Konopka wins D5 class, and then in GT3 class, Rudolf Benio is the race winner with his BMW M4 GT3. Petr Fulin in a 2nd place. Denis Waszek, then he is the winner of the GTX class. And what about the GTC class? Yes, Josef Zaruba wins the GTC class of the race with his Lamborghini Huracan Super Trophy of Mechanic Motorsport powered by Bagheera. So great job done by Josef Zaruba. Then we also have the GT4 class winner. And in the GT4 actually, the winner, according to live timing, should be Dobroslav Karnik, racing with number 3 BMW M4 GT4 Evo, entered by Schenkis Motorsport. So Dobroslav Karnik overtook Miroslav Mikes in the last lap of the race, and he takes the win in GT4 class. So what a great finish by Dobroslav Karnik in GT4, and also even better finish by Rudolf Benio in a GT3 class. So this was the 2nd sprint race of GT Cup Series here in Brno. This is the number 6 of Petr Korman, the Austrian driver racing in SCC class. So this was the sprint race, the final sprint race of GT Cup Series here in Brno. Thank you so much for joining us again here on Masaryk Circuit, and the race action will be going on again with the final race of the season of the Formula 4 Central European Zone Championship later this afternoon. Thank you very much for now, and enjoy your racing Sunday here in the Czech Republic.